Though only 2 townspeople lost their lives in this battle, the Sudbury fight, as it became known, native warriors destroyed nearly £3,000 worth of property, equal to more than $700,000 in today's money. The economy and infrastructure of the town didn't fully recover for at least 2 years. Relations between the English colonists of Sudbury and the indigenous people of Muskedequid would never be the same. Though the honourable conduct Captain Hunting's praying Indians displayed in the burial of the English dead softened some colonist bigotry towards natives, New England as a whole became a bitterly intolerant place for indigenous people in the wake of King Philip's War. Since the non-Christian natives of Dawnland were now largely dead, enslaved in the Caribbean or fleeing the region as refugees, the only indigenous people left to absorb English hatred were the praying Indians, most of whom had been nothing but loyal to them. This thirst for revenge cost at least 2 innocent local praying Indians their lives. Tantamouse, the old man nicknamed Jethro, was among those indigenous Christians forcibly detained in an internment camp on Deer Island in Boston Harbour. He escaped bondage only to be betrayed by his own son, captured and hanged. Multiple English witnesses claim to have seen the praying Indian Watasakomponum on the battlefield at Green Hill, fighting with the enemy, a charge he vehemently denied right up until the moment they pushed him off the scaffold. Edmund Brown probably spoke for most in Sudbury when he advocated for the, quote, diminishing of the surviving native population, in this telling letter to the magistrates of the county.
Indians are generally treacherous. To that diminishing of their number, this may be done 2 ways. First, by the sword of coercive justice, cutting those off by death that have apparently and very unjustly imbued their hands in the blood of the English. The second way of diminishing them is by transporting some others into transmarine parts. It was by some judged a politic curse to send the Scots taken at war far into transmarine parts. And are our renegade Indians objects of more favour than the Scots? No, their desert of punishment I conceive to be higher.
Tragically, that desert of punishment would never heal Massachusetts Bay's collective trauma from King Philip's War. Metacomet's head was rotting atop a pole overlooking Plymouth Harbour, but his ghost would haunt New Englanders for generations. Though Metacomet played a deceptively small part in the conflict that bears his English alias, the phantasmagorical legacy of King Philip would transform him into a mythological evil, a bogeyman to scare children, New England's ultimate nemesis. In the early 19th century, sectional contention between the northern and southern halves of the United States led to the development of 2 opposing national mythologies. And as the northern states shaped their history into a cultural narrative, the Sudbury fight was exalted as a defining moment in the inception of America. In 1903, Canadian-American author Wallace Rice, a direct descendant of Edmund Rice, reflected these ideas in a commemorative poem telling the story of the battle. Rice rewrote history to turn the chaotic English defeat into a hard-won victory, where the future of the American colonies was single-handedly decided. Additionally, King Philip is painted as the main villain of the piece, despite the fact that he was likely not even present for the battle. Reflecting the prevailing white supremacist norms of his time, Rice emphasised racialist imagery in his depiction of the native foe, describing Metacomet and his indigenous warriors with satanic and animalistic language.
100 dragging 12 months ere the welcome joy bells ring, the dawn of independence, did King Philip's devils spring through April on the little town like wolves a-ravening. The morning lifts in fury as they come with torch in hand and howl about the houses in the little frontier town. Our garrisons hold steady while the flames by breezes fanned disclose the painted demons, fierce and cunning, lithe and brown.
Despite Rice's mythologizing, there is a deeper truth in his poem about how the people of Sudbury came to remember this defining experience. Edmund Goodnow, by 1676 a grizzled militia captain, survived the Sudbury fight, as did John and Josiah Haynes and everyone in the Noyes clan. All three families would remain in Sudbury for centuries and played key roles in every epoch of its history. Successfully defending their homes from a violent invader bound them to the land much more permanently than any legal document ever could. Like all dynasties, their right to rule was forged in blood.